What is up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to the Suit Up Geek Fix podcast. Today, love is in the air. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and what better time to celebrate two amazing rom-com films, When Harry Met Sally versus My Best Friend's Wedding. This is a versus show. Amanda's representing. This is a versus show. We're going to break down both films by story, memorable moments, sound and visuals, rewatchability, and overall score. And we're going to see who takes the cake. And this is all just preparation. This is the appetizer for tomorrow night's rom-com movie draft going down tomorrow night. If you're watching us Friday, tomorrow night, February 12th, at 8 p.m. East Coast time is our rom-com movie draft. Let's start off with introductions. I've got the Queen, Amanda, at AMX NDA Reviews, Candid Cinema Finest. What's up, Amanda?
I'm good. I'm so excited for this, and I'm so happy that both of you watched these. So I'm just pumped. I'm happy to be here.
100%. I've never seen both of these films until literally a week ago. And I got to say, thank you.
And make good choices.
We've got Bad Dog Reviews in the house. What is going on? We've got Matt Wyatt. What is up, Matt? Thanks for joining. Guys, if you're watching us live, be sure to leave a comment, smash that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, at the Suit Up Geeks. Also joining us, my man, he is low, at Marcellus Durden on Twitter. You're up, man. What's up?
Hello. For whatever reason, it went from like 40 degrees 3 days ago to like damn near 80 degrees over here in California. So it's getting a little toasty, but it's the weekend. I'm ready to party, and I'm so excited to do this versus with you guys.
Yep. All right, let's jump right in. So we're going to do all of When Harry Met Sally. We're going to get all of our scores out of 10, and then we're going to move on to My Best Friend's Wedding, man. Just a lot to talk about here. Let's start off with When Harry Met Sally with the story. I think for me, from a story standpoint, this is elite tier, flawless performances from Billy Crystal, from Meg Ryan. What really stood out to me was director Rob Reiner and screenwriter Nora Ephron. I think that foursome there simply created jaw-dropping dialogue, biting chemistry between those two main leads and the writer and the director. I love that the basis of this film circles around just the truths of being single and what it means to fall in love. The premise is really wildly simple, but when the credits hit, man, I honestly just couldn't stop thinking about it. It was incredibly thought-provoking. Crystal and Ryan have possibly one of the most believable relationships I have ever seen on camera. I was riveted from this story from start to finish. It's one of those, it's just so fresh. 10 out of 10 for me. What about you, Amanda?
I mean, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's top 5 for me. I agree with everything you just said, but for me, I think the structure of this film is really important. Because there are actual relationships, actual couples that kind of bookend certain a range of years, which I really love. So you get to see their love kind of blossoming. They go from acquaintances to friends, and then really good friends, and then you get obviously the third act, and it's just perfect. But I think that the integration of the real couples really cemented how realistic this movie is. And I always gravitate towards, romantic films that are very honest about relationships, because I'm not a first love at first sight type of person. So I just really love the development, their connection. Like you said, Crystal and Ryan are ridiculously good in this. And it's funny. Some romantic comedies lean heavy on the romance and then forget the comedic aspects, but this is just a perfect balance. And then you have Bruno Kirby and Queen Carrie Fisher as secondary characters, and it's amazing work from all of them. But for me, it's really the structure that drives this narrative home.
It's just an honest and insanely relatable film, man. It's really, really well done. What about you, Lo? You're muted, man. You're muted, man.
Loretto.
I think you guys really nailed it on the head. And I think what's really excellent about the picture is it's just so natural. Aside from the chemistry between Ryan and Crystal, kind of like what Amanda was illustrating, is I liked how initially they didn't even like each other. And then over time, out of loneliness, they would talk on the phone. And honestly, I'm ruining one of my favorite moments, but I just love that it was that simple. Like, what was the movie they would watch together, Amanda? They would always like watch movies together.
Yeah, it's Casablanca.
Right?
Yeah, it's Casablanca.
Oh, see, look,
Yeah.
that, come on. Like, that was an easy win for me. And I was like that, for me, I mean, maybe it wasn't immediate for them, but for me, that's a dream. That's the dream. Someone that just loves Casablanca as much as I do. But besides that, though, I also think the confessional format, like Amanda was alluding to, is very, very, it enriched the story. Like, because the story was already good, but to have those confessionals with those couples, it gave it just a little bit of more heart and a little bit more relatability for the audience. And like you said, Dibes, Nora Ephron hit this out of the park. This kind of put her on the map, and she became the queen of romantic comedies. But suffice it to say, I don't think she ever topped this mountain. It was like kind of like M. Night Shyamalan. She set the bar too high for herself, and she never quite got the same heights. But she's a talented writer and a talented filmmaker.
Yeah.
All right. What are your scores? What do we got here? Out of 10.
You going to me?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Go ahead.
Well, it's simple. It's simple, but I think the characters make it work, and I think Nora Ephron wrote a clever script. I'll give it an 8.74.
Here we go. You just love it, man. Just like twisting the knife. What about you, Amanda? What's your score out of 10?
Listen, I love this movie so much. Hey,
Gabe.
Hi.
Amanda from Planet Cinema.
I can hear it. Oh, don't kill me. I'm gonna give this a 9. For me, the reason why I watch it all the time is because whenever I hit a low point, I kind of watch this to give me a different perspective, like a clean slate on relationships and love. And that's how amazing the script is that I always find something new to attach myself to. So yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10 for sure.
All right, let's roll on to visuals and sound for When Harry Met Sally. Like, I don't know if it's like the performances or the cinematography or what, man, but there's like this like realness vibe about When Harry Met Sally, and the way it was shot that I really, really loved. It just sucked you into this film. Sound-wise, like this soundtrack does just an amazing job, led by Harry Connick's soundtrack here. Like, there's like a big band feel about what's going on while Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal are doing your thing. Like, it just screams just this sweeping romance, grand romance story. And it's all led by that Frank Sinatra's It Had to Be You. Just a beautiful, beautiful soundtrack. I was vibing during this entire film. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10 for me. We'll start off with love.
I should have rewatched this movie, man.
How
I
dare.
can't speak too much about it visually or musically, but I just remember enjoying it, and I think that was proof enough that Rob Reiner did his job with his director of photography. Remind me, was the finale at New Year's Eve?
Yes.
Okay.
Running down the street, New York City. Yeah.
Yes, and I think those kind of moments, that's something that we started to see become like a trend in rom-coms, like the big I gotta tell her, and then they're all running to meet each other kind of thing. I think this was one of the first instances that I remember seeing that, and I loved that. Yeah, for that alone, that's iconic. It's iconic. I'll have to give it a 9 as well.
All right. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I agree that I feel like there was a realness to it. There was a warmth radiating off of them at all times, which I really loved. And It Had to Be You is like, I cry every single time that song comes on because I know it's about to happen. And I'm like, I don't know why I cry. It's like, it literally in my brain, it's like, Manda, it's a cue. You got to cry now. But it's just, that soundtrack, like you said, it's just really, it feels like two friends just coming together, and like it just feels that way. I don't know how he gave off that vibe, but it really just hits every time. So I'm gonna give it a 9 as well.
9 for Amanda here.
Yeah.
For visuals.
Yes,
here we go.
Matt says it's 10 out of 10.
He's gonna question everything Amanda said.
That's not radiating. Oh, Gabriel.
Yeah, we're not at my best friend's wedding yet. We'll get there. I have not I haven't been able to get that song out of my head as well for hours. It's, oh my gosh, so good. Let's roll on to memorable moments for When Harry Met Sally. I think what makes When Harry Met Sally so elite for me is that slow burn. You know, there's so many memorable moments in this. The payoff at the end is so good. It spans 12 years. We get to see them grow up. We get to see them make love. We get to see them mature, make mistakes. They make silly voices. They have a lot of fun. You know, I think, but when like Harry and Sally start to realize that they started to have feelings for one another, it feels so organic. It feels so incredibly real. Like you literally feel like they're friends, and then they're just meant for each other by the end of the film. It's just so well written. For me, the scene when they sleep together for the first time, and when the two realize that they might have made a mistake, and you see them each telling a different side of what went down, like with this like simultaneous dialogue, is just a showcase of epic writing, epic direction. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10 for me. What about you, Amanda?
Well, I have like a similar moment, but it comes like earlier. So when she does call him to come over, and her ex-boyfriend basically it is PG over here, fam. But when she calls him over and she's all sad that her ex-boyfriend's getting married to his secretary, and they have that conversation, I felt that like it was such an important moment for the two of them, because Sally's like, I'm difficult, I'm this, and then he's like countering it with like words of like just kindness towards her, and like he knows everything about her, so he knows how to like calm her down, and I love that. But that moment, that kiss, the way that it happened was like it was silent. It was just the two of them. Like they zoomed in like to the kiss, and it's really, really well done, because you felt like it's a monumental moment. So yeah, I love that one like right beforehand, but I do like the split screen like you said too, Dive. So I'm gonna give it a 9 as well.
Bad Dog says When Harry Met Sally is my personal favorite movie of all time.
Yes.
We'll be giving a final score of this. The writing is great. Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan. I didn't know Billy Crystal was that good of an actor. I know like voice acting, unbelievable. Performance-wise, unbelievable. But he was so good in this movie. What about you, Lo? What's your some of your memorable moments of When Harry Met Sally?
Yes. Yes.
It's not PG anymore.
I'm so sorry. That's the low-hanging fruit.
It's on my
the
shirt.
low-hanging fruit. I had to pick it. I'll have what she's having. One of the most like iconic lines of all time. But I'll also follow that up with a more simple scene. I really liked the car ride. I think he was dropping her off at the airport, right? And he was dating her friend.
Yes, Amanda Reese. Yes.
And it was just a casual like, oh yeah, you need to ride.
What?
And then he was just being like a total guy, like a total buffoon, and it just sets up the conflict for the story. And like it's so funny because they seem so different at first, and she's like, oh, like so like repulsed of him. And I think he does that classic thing, like it's one of my favorite lines in the film. Men and women can never be friends. Yeah. And that very like premise is what drives a lot of romantic comedies. The can we be friends? Like we kind of like each other, we get along, but then we kind of get each other's throats, and we kind of want to make love to each other. But I was gonna say something else, but
where's the beep button? Beep.
I love that conversation. It foreshadowed the film like in a manner that I wasn't expecting, because I was expecting them to just hit it off and then start this magical romance, but it wasn't magical at all. If anything, she didn't like him at all, and then she just runs into him 5 years later. So yeah, that was one of my next favorite moment after the orgasmic table scene.
Fun fact, if you guys didn't know, the woman that says the line, I'll have what she's having, is Rob Reiner's mom, and she did that like off, like it wasn't even in the script, she just said it.
That's so
fun fact.
That makes that scene even better.
Right?
So funny. Like, there's so many great moments. The moment when Billy Crystal goes off on the coffee table.
Yes.
Awesome. Just hilarious. Like just clearly projecting.
Yes.
Just goes off for like literally 5 minutes about a coffee table.
Before a score, I'll give it a 9.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we got nines across.
Nines across the board.
All right. We are now rolling into rewatchability, elite level rewatchability. The second this film ended, you guys, we were talking on Twitter. Like, I just literally just sat for 10 minutes. I needed to talk about it. And my first thought was, I cannot wait to watch that again. Yeah, it's a slow burn, but this is a strong 9 out of 10 for me, where the music, the dialogue, the leads is so rich and full of honesty for me. That it's just, this is a movie that has to be experienced multiple times. I'll throw it to you, Lo.
Not gonna lie, I am like chomping at the bit to rewatch it. That's how much I want to rewatch it. And
Yes.
the only reason why I've been putting it off is because I have seen it and I've been trying to cram other films this week to prepare for tomorrow's draft. But just the fact that it's something that it's on my mind, I think that says everything you need to know. God, they're just so good together. And nothing against Tom Hanks, but I think just for reference, guys, I tried to watch Sleepless in Seattle, and minus the fact that that movie is super dated with its concept.
Yes.
I know.
I like Tom Hanks, right? I like Tom Hanks, but seeing
not
him
Billy
in Meg Ryan, I couldn't help but think of Billy Crystal, and I was like,
Yeah, so what
like
happened?
Harry and Sally did it better. I just
know.
couldn't think, I couldn't get it out of my head, and I think that speaks volumes to this film. So I think rewatchability, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna give it a 10.
Nice.
I might watch it every year this time of year and just enrich myself in their love story that's so wonderful.
Hey, Nicole.
Mrs. Crockpot in the house.
Hi.
She's like right next to him.
I love
What about
it.
you, Amanda?
Oh, this is definitely like 11 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
I watch it every October,
Yeah.
or I'm feeling down in the dumps. It's like therapy to me. I love it. I love it so much. I also, another moment is when they're singing from Oklahoma, the karaoke, and then his ex-wife walks in. It's another moment that I forgot to mention, but this movie just means the absolute world to me. So I'm going to keep forcing people to watch it because it's important. It's kind of like a new blueprint for rom-coms.
Yeah, it is. It is the blueprint for sure. Yeah. Let's go on to overall grade here. I gotta say, like, considering this movie came out in 1989, I was completely blown away at how modern this movie feels. Like, this movie felt shockingly progressive. This is not, for me, not only one of the best rom-com films I've ever seen, but in my opinion, I think this is like a tier above anything I've ever seen from the genre. And I'll go a step further than that. I'm going to say this is a film that puts the rom-com genre on the map. And I agree, though. Like, Tom Hanks he can't hold Tom Hanks can't hold Billy Crystal's jockstrap. Like, it is so good. I probably laughed like 90% of the film, just the dialogue alone. This is like Judd Apatow when he's at his best. And I literally was laughing the whole time. I was literally just sitting up, crisscross applesauce, laughing my ass off at this script. The direction, the leads, top to bottom. This is a 10 out of 10. And I got to say, like, this is going to be easily in my like top 20 films I've ever seen. That's how good it was. I was blown away. And I don't get blown away. I don't do that. Doesn't happen to me. So I think the last movie that truly did that was Train to Busan. Train to Busan fucked me up.
Anna's heart is bursting right now.
I'm so happy.
So this is for me a 10 out of 10. Way better than anything I've seen in the rom-com genre ever. And I'm ashamed to admit it. It took me until last week to finally watch it. But that's thanks to you, Amanda. It was awesome. What about you, Amanda? What's your grade?
10 out of 10, obviously. Like I said, it just means the absolute world to me. The story, I just gravitate to stories like this. I gravitate to like such natural, effortless chemistry. And honestly, the chemistry nowadays is like, it's so weak. And it's not only in like romantic comedies, like across the board in like action films or whatever, like they give you the bare minimum and then you don't believe it. So I think that this movie alone, I really relate to Sally. Not that she's just a journalist, but like everything that she does, like I hold on. She's like a comfort character for me, and I love that. And then Billy Crystal is the total like opposite. like Harry's the total opposite of Sally, but they connect, and I appreciate what they showed in this movie, and it's just honest, and I live for that kind of connection. And I love them so much, and I'm so happy that everyone's watching it and loving it. So yeah, 10 out of 10.
Bad Dog says any of the Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan team ups have never had the great chemistry that when Harry met Sally has between Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal. I tried to get through You've Got Mail.
I told you.
I'm telling you, it's like having like wings broken for you when you have like the best wings of your life. I'm never using that again. It's over. What about you, Lo?
Yeah, man. I mean, what more can be said at this point? And I think that it's very clear, like from like 1990 to like damn near mid 2000s, this was the formula. Every other film tried to recreate this magic, and half of those films had the women be a journalist or a reporter or a writer. It was just so like everything was just so dead on, damn near. And I think How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and a lot of movies have this movie to thank for what they established with this formula, and I think it stands the test of time. I don't know. I have to look at my all-time list. I've never made one. That's something I think I might do, make a big event of. And I think I don't know where this film will rank in my greatest of all times, but it's definitely had an effect on me. And Amanda will be super happy to hear I'm gonna give it a 10.
Yay! God bless. I love it.
You really had to do the 8.74.
And just mess it all up.
Oh man, but my best friend's rating's gonna be spicy.
All right, hold on. Let me do the math real quick.
I'm just so happy right now. Literally beaming.
All right, let's roll on to My Best Friend's Wedding, another film about, budding friendship evolving into something more, or maybe not. Full disclosure, as we talk about the story, I am not a Julia Roberts fan. Like, I respect the hell out of Erin Brockovich and Pretty Woman. Like, I understand their classics and all of that. But when I was told to watch this from Manda, I was like, especially coming off of When Harry Met Sally. Like, I literally watched When Harry Met Sally. Then I watched You've Got Mail. And I couldn't even get through like 30 minutes. I was like, stop me. And then Amanda goes, watch My Best Friend's Wedding. I got to say, man, I was just wonderfully surprised by how good this film was. It's got a ton of heart. A significant chunk of that was directly because of Julia Roberts' performance. I think one of my favorite elements here that I enjoyed was the fact that they didn't end up together. Spoiler warning. I think that's what made it like really fresh for me. I think the movie is really well directed. I think it has awesome pacing. And even when it does slow down, it's got Julia and Dermot just amazing, just spicy scenes that you could feel the tension between them. Especially that scene when they're on the boat cruising around Chicago. Story, it's awfully simple, but it's super effective. I'm going to go an 8. What about you, man?
Yeah, this was actually the first time that I rewatched it since I was a kid. So like I don't really remember it too well, but I love Julia Roberts, and this was like early on in her career too. But the reason why this worked is because of Dermot and Julia's chemistry, which is a different chemistry entirely from what Billy and Meg had. So in this case, you had to literally believe that it's like a 15-year or like 8-year friendship, 10-year friendship like that. And there was tension there because they kept going back and forth like a will they, won't they type of vibe. And I just love Julia Roberts in this, and her performance really drives it home. But it's also like the secondary characters coming in and just, working their magic. A young Cameron Diaz too, which was like a delight in this. But yeah, it's a simple story, again, elevated by the chemistry and the actors at hand. So I'm going to give it like an 8.
Got it. I didn't expect Julia Roberts to play almost like a villain role in this movie, which was really fun. It was like there's a lot of twists in this movie that I did not expect on my first watch. What about you, Lo?
Oh man, here we go. This might be a hot take, but anyways, really quickly, I just want to say how I just find the concept so brilliant. I don't think it's established enough in other films that there is like moments when you can have a friendship with a guy or girl, especially after being in a relationship. I think that's a lot more common than people realize. People make it seem taboo to be friends with your ex or whatever, but sometimes it just works out that way. Some people date in high school and then they're just friends later. And I had a similar thing where I dated someone a long time ago and now we're just really good friends now. And I find the concept very realistic, and it also, from a comedy standpoint, it makes for hilarious moments. And I think the premise of the story sets up very well for comedy. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna give the story for My Best Friend's Wedding a 9.12.
Oh damn! I give it the lowest.
We both give an 8.
I think. Oh yeah, that's right. I think it hits a little too close to home. That's why. I'm like, damn.
I'm like, I'm counting down to 28 with a promise you made to someone.
Anyway, that's a different story for a different time. Not on air.
Matt says, My Best Friend's Wedding was really good. Great cast, good story. Julia Roberts was terrific. 8 out of 10. Let's jump right into our next category, which is, I totally forget. What's our next category? Visuals and sound. All right. Yeah. I think for this film, I go straight to the music in the opening. Like that tune, like wishing and hoping, like that was in my head. Like I'm in the shower, like singing that for the next 2 straight days. It is the worst and the best at the same time. There's a charm variable in the sound, not unlike 13 going on 30 a little bit, which is one of my favorite rom-coms of all time. This movie just has that like super romantic vibe. There are times like Julia Roberts, like and Dermot, what's his last name? I always forget. Mulroney, like you can't take your eyes off them. They're just scintillating. The background of Chicago really worked for this film, and I don't know why, but it's a big city, but it still felt intimate for me. And I love the 90s vibe as someone who like absolutely adores 90s pop culture. Like I really, really love that as well. It also doesn't hurt that Julia is like beyond attractive in this film. Like I didn't know she was ever that attractive. Like she just glowed in every single scene. She was radiating. And it's fun that James Newton Howard did the score to this one. And I listened to the score after the fact, and it's a good score. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. What about you, Lo?
Yeah, so again, I was the one place I visited way the hell out of my state ever was Chicago. I haven't gone much anywhere else besides that, and it's a gorgeous city, and this encapsulates it well, especially the boat in the river. It's very 90s in this film, especially with her hacking into the boss's email and stuff like that, and it's like a Macintosh from like 1990 whatever, 97, 96. But yeah, overall though, I think like the music's charming. Obviously, we're probably gonna get into that moment, but you know, that song is an earworm. I think the visual gags of this film is what carried it for me too. Like I laughed so hard when he told her he was getting married and she falls off the bed. I
love it.
And also the karaoke scene with Cameron Diaz just sounding like a dying cat.
Love it. Oh, I love it. Oh, so good.
And you know, like again, it always comes down to that. Oh my god, I gotta tell him how I feel, that epic chase. And I love the visual of Cameron Diaz running, Dermot Mulroney running, and then Julia Roberts running in the grass, and the wedding party's like, "Aw, look at them!" And it's just such a funny gag. And then like it goes from there. Like she hijacks a freaking bakery van, and they go like going through the city almost like a freaking action comedy at that point. Yeah, honestly, I had a really, really fun time with this film, and visually, I thought it was outstanding. I'm gonna give it a 9.
Wow. What about you, Amanda?
I agree with everything you guys have said. It's very 90s. I miss the colors, the vibrancy of the colors like that 90s movies had. I feel like that just like they're lacking now in films coming out today. I don't know what the difference is, but I just feel like this was just filled with like happiness and warmth, even though Julia Roberts was kind of a snake. But you know, like I just felt like I wanted to be there with them at this like whole like at the wedding, at the bar, wherever they were. I just wanted to like be with them, and their dynamic is what carried this. So
Yeah.
visually, I thought it was interesting to watch this. All 90s movies are interesting to watch because of that, and the songs are great, all of them. So yeah, it was just I love the framing with Julia too, with Dermot. Whenever they're together, it's very like close up, and you just feel it from them. So I love that. I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10. I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
Amanda. And then we get into memorable moments here. When Julia forces Kim to sing and she butchers that song. I don't remember what song it is, but I love how the crowd, for some reason, like is kind to her, and you know, they start singing with her. It's just beyond cute. You know? Yeah, the scene when they're on the boat in Chicago. You know, she can't. Julia Roberts can't convince herself to tell the truth. Just an awesome moment. But you nailed it, Lo. Like the best scene is the rehearsal dinner song. I Say a Little Prayer for You. That moment is so hilarious, especially when you see like Julia Roberts' reaction. Like it for me, like when that scene started, like it was so awkward, but the film owns it. It goes all in, and then you have like people with lobster claws in the back, like dancing.
That's right.
Like literally, like I was like, I was watching this movie, and I was like, "What's happening right now?" And then like, not even 10 seconds later, I'm like, like it was just, I went all in, just like the film did. This is great. 8 out of 10 for me. What about you, Lo?
Oh man, one thing I want to shout out, because it's not my favorite, but I want to shout out the moment in the bathroom. I love how like Cameron Diaz is like, "Can't believe you did this to me," and this like the lady next to her is like, "Cat fight," and then they all watch. Like, there's like a very like almost like parody style of comedy to this, to where it like, it's like, oh, come on, would that really happen? But it's just part of the fun at that point, and like they have an audience, right, as they're kind of hashing out their stuff. But I liked how from that scene on to when the scene before actually is my favorite moment, when she kind of lets it all out with Dermot Mulroney. Like Julia Roberts just acts her ass off. Yeah. Like as funny as this movie is, as cheesy as it is, when it comes to the drama of it, Julia Roberts does a great job, both with Dermot Mulroney and Cameron Diaz. Just like, you know, I lost, you know, he doesn't want me, he wants you, and like the sincerity in her eyes, the tears in her eyes, and also like her confession, like, you know, like you know, I was just, it's been 9 years, but I was just what did she say? She was just like scared to lose him or something like that. And I just thought I thought overall her performance in those dramatic moments were my favorite. I thought, again, I'm like you, Dives, I'm not a Julia Roberts girl, but she stole my heart in this one for sure.
Watch Pretty Woman if you haven't.
I'm about to.
You need to.
I watched it. It was
oh my god! Sorry. Watch Notting Hill then, Dives. Watch that one.
Never saw that. Lo, what's your score?
Oh, sorry. Memorable moments?
Yeah.
I'll give it a 9.
Nice. What about you, Amanda?
I think my favorite is the speech at the wedding. That just made me bawl my eyes out. Yeah, because like at the end of the day, like she just wants the best for him. It kind of got twisted in how she wanted the best for him. But if you've been friends for that long, it's hard to let go of a friendship like that, even if there was like some romantic undertones or whatever. It still stings because you've shared so much with that person. So I think that speech was just perfection. Her crying, like, oh my god, and she looked gorgeous in that dress too. But it's the dynamic between the three of them where it's like, it's understandable that she's feeling that way, because it's kind of like a sibling at the same time as well, where it's like they're leaving. Like my uncle cried when my mom left the house. Like, it's that type of thing. So I love that they shared like even like the platonic side, like both ends, I think, because it's a very fine line. But then like she doesn't end up with him, but there's always going to be other people that you connect with differently, and I think that's a really important message with this. So I'm still going to give it a 9 out of 10 for memorable moments, because that dance sequence is freaking top notch.
9 out of 10?
Yeah, I'll do 9 out of 10. I rambled, but yes.
I'm gonna go rewatchability here for my best friend's wedding. For me, it's a 7 out of 10. It's very enjoyable, has tons and tons of heart, so many memorable moments. But for me, I'll probably watch those like on YouTube rather than rewatch this film. Unlike When Harry Met Sally, which is for me like just was more for me. So 7 out of 10 is not a bad score. I think it was solid. I would definitely, if it's like, if I have nothing to do on a Saturday or a Sunday and it comes on, I'll definitely sit and watch it. Like, and that for me, saying that, you know, and like compared to my mindset coming into it, blew me away. What about you, Amanda?
Yeah, I give it a 7 out of 10 as well. Like you said, if it's on television one day, I'll put it on, but like it's not like I'll buy the DVD because I have to watch it again type of thing. But yeah, 7 out of 10 for me.
What about you, Lo?
God, I really like this movie compared to you guys.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Dibes. Like, I don't know how many more times I will rewatch this, but it's definitely like gonna be on my short list. If I'm feeling rom-commy, if I'm feeling like maybe in a Valentine's week, whatever, I might throw this on next year, and I think I'm gonna enjoy it. But at the same time, I think knowing the gags, and knowing like, you know, for example, that dinner table scene is so great, but it's like that's not something I'm gonna watch like over and over and over. So
I think I've watched that scene probably about 6 times on YouTube.
It's so fun.
Since my first watch.
Nice. Well, see, that's a whole separate style of rewatchability, right? But
I guess, yeah.
But I do enjoy it a lot more than I thought I would, and honestly, I'll probably give it more of like a 7.61.
Well done.
All right.
Pow.
Loretta, what was your overall grade for When Harry Met Sally? It was 10, right?
Yeah.
Duh.
All right. Overall grade for My Best Friend's Wedding. For me, this begins and ends with Julia Roberts. I think she hits like every single emotion imaginable in this film, and she crushes it. I was shocked at how smart this film was, and how funny it was. It had me engaged the entire time, which rom-com movies rarely do. I enjoyed the plot. Nearly every joke landed. Even the ridiculous scenes absolutely hit. For me, it's a funny film. It's got a ton of heart, and the twists I loved. I absolutely loved the way it ended for me. And shout out to that Rupert guy.
Rupert Everett. Yeah.
Rupert Everett was amazing in this movie, and he was in Dunstan Checks In as well. 90s classic. No, it's not. I'll give this. I'll throw it to you, man.
What was your score?
An 8 out of 10.
An 8 out of 10. Cool. I'm probably on the same wavelength. Yeah, I'd give it an 8 out of 10 overall. I think for me, it's like you don't see a lot of male and female friendships on screen, and especially from like the female perspective and how close they can be, and just showing it from Julia Roberts' perspective was really awesome. And it does hit, you know, I grew up with like guys my entire life, and they've all been my friends, and it's been a journey and a half. That's all I can say. Yeah, it's an 8 out of 10 for me, just because Julia Roberts is amazing, and I've just been watching her movies now. So, yeah.
Love it. What about you, Love?
I'm really glad you mentioned Rupert Everett, Dives. Like, seriously, like, I mean, the gay best friend trope is very common, but he is one of the best damn gay best friends ever. From like him playing off their engagement in the church, like that was so funny because like he was responding to them very like politely and respectfully, but at the same time it was very gay. But he still played it off, and you know, I like the subversiveness of the ending. It's definitely one like when I wasn't sure what was gonna happen, but I didn't see it coming. I really appreciated that. It was a big surprise, and I'm glad that it went that way. I'm not sure if I agree with him falling in love with a 20-year-old Cameron Diaz after what was like 3 months or 3. It was like a really short period of time.
Love at first sight, Loretto.
Right. And I don't know if I agree with that per se.
I know,
but I'm glad that Julia Roberts played like the bigger person in there. I think I had some gripes with some of her sabotage. Like some of it was just like extreme. Like the fact that she wrote the email and then didn't delete it. Like if you're not gonna send it, just get rid of it. Like that part kind of bugged me. But minus that, I really, really, really enjoy this movie. I laughed my ass off. I just found the chemistry between the three of them, like even Cameron Diaz and Julia Roberts together. Like that scene in the elevator is so funny. I forgot about that. That would actually be high up in my memorable moments as well. When Cameron Diaz hits the stop button and then Julia Roberts is like, do you know anything about enclosed spaces? Like, how do you feel in small spaces? And she starts pacing and she gets all like anxious and stuff.
Amazing.
And then when she comes out of the elevator, she runs into a tray of food. Like,
classic.
I'm a sucker
so
for
funny.
physical comedy. This film had me in shambles. So it's not quite the level of When Harry Met Sally, but surprisingly, guys, I'm gonna give this a 9.63.
Fair.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's probably one of the better rom-coms I've seen, for sure.
It's definitely fun.
44.6.
I love it.
All right. Where should we go from here? I'm gonna let you guys, close it out, and I'm gonna do my math. I'm gonna throw it to you, Lo. What do we got going on right now? And I'm gonna get the scores up. Go ahead, man.
So this is actually a precursor for tomorrow night. So please stay tuned in on this channel tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time. We have 7 other awesome creators, lots of new faces joining us, and we are going to pick the greatest rom-com films and make a team of it and let Twitter decide. Are you ready, Amanda? Are you happy with your spot? I think you are, right?
Yeah, I'm in 4th, I think, so I'm good. I'm sitting good.
Yeah, you're in the top 5.
As long as no one takes a certain one, I'll be okay.
Funny enough, I'm picking right before Dives. Right, like to his dismay.
It's gonna be so funny between the two of you.
Oh, it's gonna be funny, and the fact that
so mad.
Like he didn't spoil what he's picking, but the fact that he's picking ones that are questionable, I'm gonna do the same thing. So this is gonna be hilarious.
I'm gonna be like no. And no, and no.
You know what though? I will fight for some of these. I will go out on my shield. So we'll see how it goes. I think I have a good case for at least one of them, at least. So
okay, we'll see.
Hella grumpy. No, but trust me, I will try to stay traditional. I'm gonna try to unless I really panic or unless the field gets really thin, I'll save the questionable ones for later.
I'm worried about that. Because we say that there's so many, but then once they start going, you're like, wait a minute, out of 50. So yeah.
Okay, here we go. Let me share my screen. Here is how the numbers look. When Harry Met Sally versus My Best Friend's Wedding, 2 epic films. Guys, if you haven't watched them yet, go do it. Please do it. They are terrific.
I think I was way too generous on everything, but they're both good.
9.
When Harry Met Sally got a 141.24, fuck you, Lo, out of 150. That is a 94.1%. And then that wins over My Best Friend's Wedding, which got an 82% overall. So any quick thoughts on that, Amanda? Like those numbers right there.
I'm obviously happy that When Harry Met Sally won, but the 82% for My Best Friend's Wedding, I still think it's good. It's a great movie. It's a lot of fun to see them, so I'm pretty happy with the score. As long as When Harry Met Sally won, we're good. It's a good time.
I think 82% is a really good score. For kind of that kind of run. These are 2 movies that definitely tug the heartstrings. They're very emotional films.
Yeah.
They've got highs, they've got lows. A lot of it's sad. Some of it's really, really funny and happy. It's all over the place. I could not recommend these two films anymore. What about you, Lo?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised at all. I think When Harry Met Sally is a GOAT. It's the rom-com GOAT, in my opinion. It established, that trend for a reason. And I just want to say, I forgot to say one more thing. I'm tickled by My Best Friend's Wedding. Shout out to Paul Giamatti.
Yes.
Paul Giamatti had a really quick cameo in the hallway when Julia Roberts is smoking, and he's like, this is a non-smoking floor. But then, he saw how distraught she was, and he kind of leveled with her. And it's like, God, in that 20-30 second scene, Paul Giamatti made it count. And it's just now look at him, he's everywhere. And it's he's in a rhino suit, he's in the Jungle Cruise, doing great things.
Good stuff. He was fun.
I kill you.
I was surprised to see him.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of smoking in this movie. You don't see that anymore.
No, you don't. It's so surprising how they
There's
change.
a lot of cigarettes.
Also, to speak to that, I usually find that a turn off when I see girls do that. But something about Julia Roberts, it just added to her like character because she was just like chain smoking out of like anxiousness.
Yes, she was stressed.
She was just stressed out.
I don't blame
her.
I
think it played to her character a little better. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, let's wrap it up. I'll throw it to you, Amanda. Where can we find you? What do you got going on?
Yeah, you guys can always follow me over at AMX ND Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. I just watched Marry Me last night, so it's been like rom-com fest for me the entire week. I watched Bridget Jones's Diary for the first time too. But yeah, my Marry Me review is up right now. I'm going to probably do a top 10 rom-com YouTube ranking very soon for Valentine's Day. So yeah, and tomorrow's going to be a lot of fun, so I'm excited.
Is Marry Me any good?
Yeah, it was good. For me, it's like J-Lo and Owen Wilson are very unlikely pairing. So it was just like, I was watching it and I'm like, I'm digging the vibe. But at the same time, it's like one of those things like I couldn't look away, but I just, you know what I mean? It was weird, but like interesting. So yeah, it was good. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. What about you, love?
Everyone can follow me on Twitter and Letterboxd at Marcellus Durden. I'm always on Talk Shop, always down to discuss anything. So, yeah, I'm just looking forward to tomorrow. I have a lot of cramming to do. I'm going to be doing that for the rest of the night. I'm actually working not too long after this. I have to pull in some overtime today. It's one of those things. That's the nature of my job. But I will be watching movies while I'm on post. So
Can't beat that. Can't beat that at all. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, everyone, for commenting. Be sure to smash that subscribe button. Check us out on Twitter at The Suit of Geeks. We're on Instagram as well, and Instagram. Thank you, everyone. If you love rom-coms, give this video a like as well. We will see you tomorrow night for the rom-com movie draft at 8 p.m. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to piss off everyone with my movies.
He's already pissing us off now.
I know. I was like making my rankings with Nicole, and she was just like shaking her head the whole time, like disappointed in me.
You know what? I'm going to call you out on air. Pirates of the Caribbean's a reach, my man. That's
so Back to the Future. Sorry, I'm just
not about Elizabeth Swann.
Literally a love story.
Yeah, there's a love story, but
Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy is probably like one of the greatest like trilogy love stories of all time.
Right, but IMDb does not say romance.
That was a reach. I'm surprised you didn't hurt yourself on that one.
All right, let's wrap it up. Again, smash that subscribe button. Please share the love for Loretto, for Amanda, for myself. Stay awesome, everyone.